Why does a sick society need to make women's life easier and easier by the day? Well, because comfort, first and foremost, is the best poison for most people, especially for women. Because a woman needs comfort in order to have a family, and especially to raise a child, or more children. When you have ignorant people, especially women, they will be far more in tune with comfort because ignorance means you don't want to progress, right? You just want to stay in that same comfort zone again and again. When people live like this, the urge of life within them to become better, to evolve, to expand, will simply crumble them. So they will want even more distractions, which will obviously lead to more frustrations. Frustrations coupled with comfort will lead to them becoming expectations because frustrations mean you don't do that which you would like or which the piece of life that you are truly wants beyond the obsessions that you ended up identifying with inside your mind, right? And when these people end up in such situations, they need to escape the mundane, which becomes more and more suffering. Because they want comfort, they're not doing what their life wants, they're just wasting their time and, or well, using it unproductively, and then, well, their expectations will grow, right? Their frustrations will get better, then they also will have expectations, right? They will have greater expectations and greater expectations of them. One day they will realize they won't achieve anything. So they will become even more hyperactive because their mind will constantly switch between these ideas because that's what they program their mind to be. Enjoy comfort and distractions, ignore the frustrations, and well, they will become more expectations and they will invest in those expectations as well. And all this weaving about and around will lead people to having even more unhealthy expectations. And they will have expectations of other people, and then they will hate those people because, one, if they are not ignorant enough, they will know other people won't do anything for them, just like most likely the family and the environment they've lived in and, well, drowned themselves in abandonment in, well, they kind of will have realized that nobody will do things for them, but it is yet again more comfortable to expect people to do something for you than to actually do them yourself. Let's not forget the core of everything is comfort. When women become comfortable enough, well, the point is very simple. They will simply have all the time in the world to think about all the dramas and obviously, yet again, all their expectations. A woman will expect a man, a real man, to remind her of her responsibilities. Now, the problem is, in order to have and to preserve a sick society, you need to make men's life more and more miserable and women's life easier and easier. Why this is because it is one of the more complex ways through which you rule humanity. I've studied this as per what my internal system showed me through years of questioning and receiving answers from my intuition. Because men, by tribalism, they require to build or to destroy societies, but mainly to build. Because it is required that a society is built, a certain comfort is ensured so that women, or the feminine, can do its part. Breed children and at the same time elevate, because that is the part of the feminine. To nurture, to elevate, and well, obviously to well, let's say propagate knowledge, wisdom, calmness, and well, the feminine grace as well. But a sick society needs only the wounded parts of those. So the wounded feminine is about inviting people into its own life and, well, manipulating and distorting their reality and teaching them that there is no other way to live life but that miserable, and to also turn that miserable of her own into their misery as well, and teach them that there is no other way to live life. And if they even dare try to leave all that comfort, which is technically her misery imposed upon them, well, they will lose that comfort, that of, well, suffering alongside her at least 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times more. So the point is, when men work for a society and they realize in time more and more that they are not represented back, and society is all about taking and taking and taking, they will distance themselves, mainly because they will think they are not worthy of the feminine's attention and they are not capable of providing for the feminine, or simply because they realize that the feminine is inexistent, so it is not worth spending much time into that. Some of these men tend to become successful because once the masculine realizes that the feminine is only a distraction up till a certain age, the point is, in life, many men fail because they think that a woman in their life is the alpha and omega. The point is, one has to grind the stairs of society. One has to grind the levels of society. And once someone becomes somewhat successful, the more successful one becomes, the more choices they have. Once they are in the lower, if they are in the lower levels where everyone of the mundane is, then you will have all the sluts, all the, dangerous women, fucked up women, daddy issues, mommy issues, boss issues, all sorts of galactic issues. You'll have all these impulse driven creatures around. Well, who kind of, prance around in a human body. Now, the point is, when men soften up because of giving up on this hope that society will ever provide something for them, they will no longer be defenders of anyone else. That includes the feminine. This will piss off the feminine because the feminine will require that a real man will slap her back into reality. Because one of the biggest weaknesses of the feminine, or let's say of women, is when they end up too much into their mind, because they should be more into their emotions, but they end up too much into their mind with drama and this and that, and they start lacking direction. And when you look at all women who are fucked up, what they need, well, more or less, is technically direction. And the more they talk about their obsessions, the more they talk about their expectations, that probably they're expecting themselves to be living like princesses, or that they should be living only in wealth and nothing bad should happen to them. The more delulu they are in this direction, what they tell as a translation is, in all of the situations, that they're looking for a real man to slap them back into reality and to teach them what it is to do what they have to do. Obviously, they will use 1,000 waves of bitch shields to deny that, but technically that is what it is. The feminine and the masculine, at their core, are very easy to comprehend, even if it takes a long time to realize that. But they are pretty easy and straightforward. With women, you want them to be kept in their own ignorance, in their own poison, right? In their own comfort, if you want to preserve a sick society. Because the point is, they will crave more and more escape. They will crave more and more distractions. And what do modern women want? They just want to waste their life watching movies, doing nothing specifically, right? The whole world is feminized anyways, because look at the modern society. Why are people so weak? Well, they don't leave their houses, they don't do shit, they don't do this, they don't do that, all they do is just watch movies, and, well, typically they end up doing things computer oriented. Even programming and such, or such modern jobs, they're all about sitting in front of a computer. There's no apparent need for the idea of foraging, for the idea of adventure, of venturing out in the whole world, right? That only seems for politicians, for senators, for business people, right? They seem to be the only ones moving out and about, or, well, people who need to drive around and such. The majority have softened up because their whole life is sit on a chair, do nothing, or, well, do certain things but do no movement at all. Then you get back home, same shit, and you want to escape your mundane, right? And that is the problem. And when men soften up, a lot of women love it because they're fucked up. And a man who doesn't retaliate is an easy prey for a woman. Now the point is, when they retaliate, obviously they will feel pissed off because, first and foremost, they will lose control, and that's something that fucked up people don't like. And secondarily, for women, is another downfall or another problem, because a man who retaliates is somewhat of a turn up, right? Or a turn on even for some girls, because it's a reminder of a man that will, or can actually remind them of their responsibilities. At times I argue with some of the girls that, they throw their tantrums and their bitch shields, that why am I not on the side of their tantrums? And I tell them, because I am not interested in siding with your comfort, with your ignorance. I am interested in siding with your pain, because pain will make you slightly better if you're wise enough to understand it. Pain, first and foremost, is good only because it reminds you that you are alive and that you have forgotten some of your responsibilities, in some cases. Yes, I'm not talking about pains due to diseases, but even that. It means some responsibilities have not been taken care of, like, for example, your health. Or, I don't know, maybe you're overthinking too much. Maybe you're spending too much time in your drama. Maybe you're too much in your head, or things like that. I'd rather focus on the part that can be woken up from people, on the part that can be bolstered mentally, emotionally, psychologically. And obviously, most people will still want to draw back into their own comfort. See, the problem with most people is they don't realize one thing. Your comfort zone doesn't have to be a spit or something small, extremely small. You can always expand your comfort zone. How you do that? Well, one has to integrate nasty things, and it will take a long time till they become part of your comfort zone. And well, you still have to keep doing that because, well, nature won't give you up that easily. Nature gave you a body for free, and it's not gonna simply let you transcend its limitations. You're gonna have to play by the rules of that physical body. Through your unconscious levels, you have programmed that body that comfort is the only way. Now you're gonna have to fight against your comfort. This is why it is difficult to pull people out of their own points. Hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated, take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferinjan Board signing out.